Thanks for doing this, Kyle.
Appreciate
I really wanted to, bring you in to chat. You're a busy person, but I think it's great you're here with us. And it's just an opportunity, I think, for you to tell our coaches what your experience has been like growing up through the system in Ontario, and being from an Ontario club, Ontario ski team, and now moving on. It was a challenging winter, like
for sure.
conditions.
We have a
and stuff.
lot of cancellations.
Yeah.
That was tough, but again, it's a part of the sport. Yeah.
And how was you've had Cam McKenzie now as a coach for 3 years, 4 years?
4 years.
4 years.
4 years we've been together.
And then the team, like what's the, you're the you're the elder
the
statesman.
mega vet for sure. Yeah.
Tell me about, what that was like this year.
It was great.
Yeah.
Years prior, we've had a few guys that coming in and out, like who were older, like post university or trying to make the national team. So that was great having those guys. But this year we really didn't have too many people like floating around. So this year, it was great. Like I had Jade Buckrill from the year before. But then 2 even younger guys, which was new for me, but they were great. And I think the team this year was awesome, and we were feeding off each other all the time. So it was super.
You had a pretty successful year. I was talking about the stats, and you had 10 podiums, you had a national podium, you had some top 10s at NORAMs, right?
No, it was great. That was.
Anything that you changed up to make this year different, or is it just maturity? Is it you're stronger?
For sure, maturity. Like obviously doing it for so many years, and you mentioned that you were my coach too for a year, there before COVID and at SOD. But like all those, like I'm going on my 6th year next year, and all those 5 years kind of combined into one, and I really sort of put it like this time last year, sat down with and had the conversation with my family, friends, and to really figure out what I wanted to do in the sport. So I think this last year, I sort of took a moment and just relaxed a little bit more. Like I said, like enjoy it.
Yes.
Because the years prior, I was really tense always, I was like, oh, I want this. But to be able this year to like sort of say like one race at a time, one run at a time, that's all you can control. And so I took the time to really enjoy it, like take the moment to enjoy each run, each turn, whatever it was, wherever we were. And I changed my training. Like I went to a new gym, Chalks in Collingwood. And then I also went to, I use more of like family friend resources in a way too, just to like people who are high up in other industries to chat with and sort of get their perspective on things. It's great talking to your parents all the time and your coaches, but being able to like draw from other people was huge as well. So like you can work hard in the gym, you can work hard on the hill, but when it comes to race day, it's just like the work's done. You gotta just
trust yourself.
You gotta trust. Being truthful, like it was a pretty dark place I was in, just to be like sitting like why am I going backwards? Like my points got bumped. Or
this was at the end of last year.
And I was sitting this time last year and it was like, what am I going to do differently? And I had to make some changes, and but it was honestly like I don't regret anything I did, and the tough times do suck, as we know. That's life. But you just have to honestly enjoy, but also stick to your values.
So would you say that was the hardest point in your career?
Yes, for understanding what I wanted to accomplish. Like I was sitting at times like I didn't want to do the sport anymore. I was wondering what life would be like outside the sport. And honestly, like when I was always still training in the gym, but I was kind of like questioning, and I had to really think to myself, like, of course, like that was tough, but there's also tough days in the career, like actually ski racing when you're in the moment and wanting it, and you're not getting the results you think you deserve, or like the word think, like to be able to like I think I should be here, I should be doing this race, whatever it is. But I had some tough moments this year as well, just at the higher level races and with peers. Like I thought that I you should be beating or whatever
Mhm.
it is, but
It's all part of it,
it's
right?
all part of it,
Yeah.
and I have to personally get better at that. And
Okay.
when you're at these crunch races where you have to
Yeah.
like, you have minimal when you're racing for cups or titles and stuff, it's tough. Like that's always in the back of your head.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think being more
Yeah.
like aware of that, or
Where does Kyle Blandford, like, where does he grow up? Where does he start skiing? How does he get, to where you are now? I think it'd be interesting for our listeners.
So I grew up in London, Ontario.
Okay.
There's one hill there, Boulder Mountain. I think I put my first pair of skis on when I was 2.
Yeah.
There, and I don't know if you've ever been. I think you've ever been there. I saw on your Instagram you've been there. It's quite. You can do like 8 slalom turns maybe, but so I learned how to ski there, like with just the whatever with my mom and dad, and we're also like not skiers at all. They try to ski, but they like to lodge still. So so I was about 13 years old. I moved to Oakville, and I did my high school there. So I went 4 years at Oakville Trafalgar, which was, they had a sports program, so it worked out really well. Obviously COVID hit when I was in like halfway through grade 11, so I kind of came up here and I was doing school online. But so I learned how to ski at Boulder. Then I did everything up till second year U16 at Toronto Ski Club. So at Blue Mountain, and so I did that, and then 1 year at the Peaks, and then I did SOD, and then 4 years in Ontario.
There you go. Coaches along the way, are there certain coaches that you remember that had an influence on you? Trying to go back a little bit to when
so like I remember like Jason Carpenter, he was a big one when I was younger, and he would take me in the trees, and we would have a lot of fun there, and that was huge, like being a kid from London coming up on the weekends. Like I only did all the way till U16. I'd only do just the weekend like skiing. I would never train Thursday, Fridays when I was younger. Curtis Eads was another one who got me a lot, like showed me the sport, and that's when after sort of then I kind of started to get a feel for the sport, and Andy Holba and
Heather
Metzger and Louis, as well as Ryan Butler at the Peaks there, which was sort of my intro into FIS. And then I had obviously you and Jen and Bebe. So that was also fun, and I had a lot of my buddies there with me too, which was really fun. Some of my best friends to now, but and then Cam for the last 4 years, which is, we've progressed I think a lot from there. So so all coaches that I've had, they've been really
any
good.
traits in particular that you think that you worked for you, or any skills that coaches demonstrated that had would have worked with you as an athlete? Can you
My training was always good. Like when I was always training good. And it's always mental. Like I think it was always mental stuff. And like I always sort of had that mentality of like, I'm gonna outwork everyone. But the trait was more or less just the coach realizing, I think, and taking them, like sitting me down and like sort of talking, like you gotta enjoy it. But it's always been like that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you're saying that the soft skills as a coach to get to know you, and to understand, what makes you perform, in what state you need to be.
And there's always like when you're younger, it's always like the pole plank it forward, and then
of course
the position over the ski, like outside ski, like no leaning in outside, like you have your drills and stuff you do. But I think at Toronto Ski Club, which was great, is we did a lot of free skiing. Like as a kid, like I'd only train I think one of the days, and the other days we would go free skiing, or if I was lucky enough to get pulled out of school on a Friday, it would be free skiing. I don't think there was any Friday training there. And
you were telling me also that you played hockey, other sports. You didn't, you weren't like a full-time skier.
So till U16, I was playing rep hockey full time. Like I had to make a decision when I was like, when we were in the transition of staying in London or going to Oakville. So we made it. I had, my dad had a tough conversation with me. It's like, what would you rather have? Would you rather be a hockey player or a skier, and we wrote down like pros and cons, and I still do this to this day when I have to make a tough decision.
Yeah.
But obviously
Yeah.
skiing, I chose skiing, and
Yeah.
I don't regret it for a second because
Cool.
of all the places we go. But I played hockey all the way. I did track too a lot when I was in grade 7 and 8, and I was considering doing that full time.
Okay.
Did cross country when I was younger.
Yeah.
High school, I still played volleyball full time, like with my school team. Love mountain biking. I've
Yeah.
switched to gravel now, but yeah. So I've always done sports, and
Yeah. You think that's a reason, one of the reasons why you're able
for
to
for sure,
be
and
successful ski
yeah.
racer?
So like being a multi-sport athlete's huge, right? Like
Yeah.
there's no such thing as a perfect ski run.
Mhm.
You're going to be thrown into positions
Yeah.
where are uncomfortable or
Yes.
what may it be, but
Yeah.
yeah, you have to be able to react. So I think being a multi-sport athlete is so important for kids at a young age, especially coming to sport. Like you have to, and you also like team sports are fun too. Like skiing is so individualized, but you do have a team.
Yeah.
After that
Yeah.
short period of time you're in the course,
Yeah.
but being a part of a team is really important too.
Ski racing, I think I heard somebody call it an individual sport while you're racing, but team sport for all other aspects of ski racing. As soon as you've stopped racing, you're even after your run, you're maybe giving course reports back to your teammates.
Exactly.
You're helping each other in training, you're moving together, you're eating together, doing everything together, right? So
it's huge.
what are some successes that you feel you've had along the way?
World Juniors was huge. Like that was a huge goal of mine. Being able to go there this year as well. Like a lot of my successes were this year, but my third year fifth, so my second year with Ontario, just getting in, I think my first Super G NORAM, I came 15th, which was huge. That one sticks out because that was kind of like my first taste of kind of getting into a higher level. My goal is to get points in each discipline, and Psalm sometimes is a little tough for me to like from when I'm in a rut. So starting at 50th. So it was that was tough, but I got NORAM points.
You scored points in all disciplines?
Yeah, so that was a huge goal of mine to be able to like each discipline I'm skiing is to get points.
The opposite side, obviously we know that there's, any good athlete has to go through challenges. You talked about, where you were at the end of last year, not in a great place, but you're able to make some adjustments. Are there any other moments along the way?
Yeah, for sure. Like the sport, like honestly, 80% of the time is like really hard. And pretty like it gets low because you're out there alone. It feels like sometimes, but you gotta realize like that you're not. My third year FIS again. The start of it was tough for me because it was the first year that my friends were kind of not in the sport. So I was like they're at universities and with social media you see what's going on, and I'm in Thornbury like getting up early to go get ready to the gym. So and it was the first, and also like my family with my brother was in high school in Oakville, so my family was in Oakville and I was here alone for the first time, and like so that was a bit of a change, and I had a bit of an injury in September, not ski related, so that was tough too. It kind of was like, what am I doing in this sport still? Like look what I have to do. But honestly, like now, like this year,
like, but what do you think you had? Are there any skills you could draw upon to help you get through that? Was it just sort of take it day by day and see how it goes?
You got to talk about it. Like I think the big one is you got to talk about it. There's the great support systems out there for people to be able to draw from. Have the conversation with your coach. Have the conversation with your family, and just say like, and you got to set goals. Like I think the big one is you got to write that goal down. You're probably not going to achieve it when you think you are. Like if you do, good on you, but it's tough to be able to achieve your goals, and you gotta get banged up. So like it was tough, but the skills are just being able to talk and sticking to it. And in Ontario as well, we have such a short period of time to ski. Like in season, also like at here, or if you're doing like a summer camp, wherever that may be, it's like you're only there for 2 to 3 weeks, if even that.
Right.
You gotta optimize the time on the snow, and if you can come out and enjoy it.
Right.
Each day, like I say, enjoy, but like put the work in and listen to your coaches, come up with a game plan before, and just actually like being present each day.
You know, I think that your ability to stick with it, have a little bit of patience, and you know, kind of just get up and do it day after day. I think that says a lot about who you are. And I think, you know, if you look at this year, probably your most successful year.
For sure.
And it's your fifth year.
Yeah.
So I think that's important for coaches to understand. You know, I think we live in a generation where, you know, I think people want to achieve things very quickly.
Yeah.
And they tend to maybe give up too soon if they don't see immediate results.
Exactly.
And I think it's important for our listeners and coaches to understand that, you know, this is a hard sport. And if you don't stick with it for a long time, it's very hard to achieve, you know, your goals or success.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, obviously that takes, you know, financial commitment, takes support from, like you said, a bunch of people, takes the ability for you to communicate with the people around you. You know, you gotta understand your support system, right? The PSO, you know, Alpine Ontario, your family, the people you work out with, people outside of ski racing.
The last few years, like it took me honestly to probably the end of last season to realize that I don't need to be like this, because this wasn't working for me. And I had to sort of reach out. I had to have a social life. I had to be able to have a plan going to the gym each day. Like I had to enjoy that side of things as well. But
you have to have the maturity.
Exactly, the maturity, and it takes time. Maturity, maturity is age, right? When you say maturity, that's age. So people, I'm 21 now, so it's like a lot more maturing to do. But it's like you have to realize where you're at, and what the biggest thing that was holding me back was my mental side of things, and not being in the driver's seat myself in some situations. So I stepped back, I wrote down my plan, and I tried to enjoy it. And of course there's days this year too that I was like kind of going back. I called it the old Kyle. Like I would kind of go back and like start to be a bit like negative, or like get angry because I wanted it too bad. When, especially even at World Juniors, like World Juniors was successful, but it was tough in the sense that I was sort of like going back to like, I knew what was at stake if I could medal or potentially win. So that was tough. And I didn't perform the way I wanted to, or I knew the way I could. So that was hard. And when I came home, I came home for like 2 weeks after, and I just had to reflect again and come back, and then it was good, and then it goes good, and then it goes bad. That's the sport.
Tell us about what's next. Like you said, 4th year with the Ontario ski team, 1 year with the SOD ski team before that. What's next for Kyle?
What's next? So I just signed with the University of Montana, so I will be going there.
Montana State,
in Bozeman. So I will be going there. I've always sort of like had a goal of going to NCAA. So that was huge, and so that was a big goal. So that's also what's next. Of course, another goal is to make the national team, and
that's still part of your goal.
Of course, 100%. And that's always been my main goal, is always to be on the World Cup one day. And it feels like it's far away sometimes, but we're getting each year a bit closer, and especially in the speed disciplines. So like Super G and GS this year, we made a huge step in as well.
Are you on a scholarship program there?
I'm on a scholarship program there.
An athletic scholarship?
Athletic and academic.
Okay.
It's been a while since high school, but COVID kind of helped with that.
Okay.
But so I have that for at least next year.
Excellent.
But so that's that was awesome. That was huge. Like
Right.
US, like the NCAA schools are very expensive for Canadians. So that was huge just with after the season we had. And
maybe just give us some insight into, you know, the being able to achieve, let's just say, an athletic scholarship at an NCAA school. A lot of people, I think, don't understand how, like, what level you need to be as a ski racer in order to even contemplate, you know, the university contemplating you as a as an athlete part of their program, right?
Yeah, no, it all comes down to pretty much NORAMs. Like I would say, like you have to sort of show success there. They want to see you compete at NORAM levels and beyond, but of course, FIS points are at the end of the day very important for whatever criteria it is. But and it's also who's on the team as well to get scholarships or where you rank on the team coming in. So that was my family was pretty happy about that because there is a huge price on those US schools, but
for a Canadian going
for Canadian, and those programs are great too. Like those, just going down and actually like experiencing the school, doing a tour, doing a academic tour as well of the buildings and the facilities was really great. So me and my dad went down to Montana and at the end, right after nationals, and
terrific.
So
that's essentially next 4 years
for sure
for you
4 years.
Going there, being part of their team, competing at the NCAA level, still doing NORAMs, obviously.
Yes, full NORAM schedule. That'll be the plan. For like, I still want to go to the World Cup. I want to compete at the World Cup,
of course. And we can finish with this. Like, what are your goals? If you do you have a
long-term, short-term?
Do you have any short-term goals? Or maybe you've achieved them this year? Like, where do they sit?
No, there's always you do one, you gotta go to the next, right? That's how it is. But I think for next year, short-termish, like I have my fitness goals that I'm working on. I just started yesterday getting back into that. So that's huge, and that's going to be the next few months for me. So that's more of my short-term goals with my fitness, but with the actual sport of skiing, like this year again, my goal was to be the top 30 in GS as well as
top 30 NORAM.
Top 30 in the NORAM, standings. So I have. Like I finished at 30th, which was good. The last two races were pretty stressful and had a bit of a crash in the downhill. So that was the four like points in 4 disciplines was huge as well. Super G was top 15 and I finished 11th. So that was big. That and as well as downhill. Like I've only done downhill now for the last 2 seasons and so it's.
So and like, what if you go into next year? Do those goals?
For sure. My goal is like I still want to continue with Super G and downhill on the occasion, but because it helps. Downhill helps all disciplines. I feel like, but it so I'm continuing with that as well with more of the school side of things. Like their huge goal and what my meetings with them was a national championship, which would be amazing, and being able to go to NCAAs and competing on the college circuit there in the West. So academics they get in the way of skiing sometimes, but I think the support system they have at these schools are really good for academics. But that will also be new for me, and having to keep that GPA and so
but you can experience going to school, having some school friends, but also competing at the same time.
Exactly.
So I think that's going to be a fantastic new experience for you. Really wanted to thank you for taking the time.
No, thank you.
Also wanted to just recognize the fact that you're someone who grew up somewhere that didn't necessarily have a huge ski hill, like we talked about. You moved from one place to the next. You always stuck with it, but you're always nice enough along the way.
Thank you.
So I think it's important, not only did you demonstrate good athletics, but you demonstrate how to be a good person at the same time. And then you know, as far as your experience with the Ontario ski team and then even the SOD ski team, like I think you were always a great role model for younger kids to look up to.
Yeah, thank you.
And you know, I think it means a lot. You're someone who could, you know, converse with all kinds of people. I always looked at the time when you and I spent some time together, coach athlete, and I think we always had good discussions.
For sure.
So yeah, just want to thank you for being part of you know, the whole community of ski racing in Ontario, and it shows that you've benefited from many aspects. But I also just wanted to take the opportunity to you know, congratulate you on an amazing career so far, and look forward to
thank you. That's awesome.
Greater things to come outside of Ontario, but still hopefully representing. I mean, you still represent
of course, always. I'm always ON Ontario.
So thank you very much, and good luck.
No, thank you.
All right.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Okay, no problem.